focused on winning football games as you do and do throughout the year. When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players. You have a great organization, and you tell them one thing: just win, baby.
Marketing group come up with that for him. Those were his phrases that he came up with, that he believed in.
Just win. Play hard. Try not to make mistakes. But don't worry about mistakes, because there's only one thing that counts. Just win. Just win.
Yo, welcome to another episode, another week of the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man. I'm one of your hosts, the SC Raiders Talk, aka boy Eric, man. And on the other side, man, the other half of the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man, home of the congregation and the Brown Crackers, my brother RaiderTwuan in the building. What's good, Twuan?
Hey, what's good, man? Blessings to everybody out there. Hey, 2-for-1 Nation podcast, two brothers for one nation. And y'all know it's the Raider Nation. All right. Blessings to everybody out there.
And yup, we back with another week of a loss.
Yep.
Another week, same old story. But I will say, just to give us a little quick glimpse of some things we're going to talk about, it was a little bit of a positive outlook in my opinion, and in my viewpoint, a little bit of a positive outlook, some improvement I did see, but it's not saying too much because at the end of the day we got pretty much hit in the mouth again. But before we get into all that and more, shout out to everybody that's coming on in, man. If you guys can, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. Shout out to Auntie Six, already calling for Cam Ward, man. Shout out to you. We gonna talk about a little bit of the draft, not too much though, because we don't want to, you feel me, but we will do some of it. But shout out to Raider Way. What's good? We ain't tanking, we're stanking. Shout out to you, man. All eyes on G. It says, I hope SC ate some brown crackers today. No, I did not, but I'm ready, man. We back. We here. We're ready to go. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Navy Vet. Salute. Javier. What's good? What's good? SoCal Sal. Good to see everybody coming on in, man. Blessings. And for everybody coming on in, hit that like button. Like I said, subscribe if you're new. And also, hopefully, hey, we bring the energy for you guys, man. But Twuan, how you feeling, man? How you feeling?
Hey, it's another day. You know what I'm saying? it ain't gonna wins and losses don't change how I feel. You know what I'm saying? The way I take care of my business. So, another game that we could have won. Yeah. And I'm not saying that just to be biased. I really felt like we could have won that game. Going into the game and actually even watching the game, I was like, oh yeah, we could still win this game. But they're hurting themselves more than anything. I don't think we've ever got to a place, even up to this point, that we could say, oh, hey, we was doing what we could do and we just got beat. You know what I'm saying? Like there's gonna be games like that where, hey, your offense was doing what they could do. The defense did what they could do, and you still came up short. But we're beating ourselves, and that's the bottom line.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to everybody coming on in. I see more people, man. Salute. Raider Way, salute. But obviously with the Dolphins, we lose 34-19. Not only that, also, it was a tell of, let's see what the Turners could do, right? What does the play calling look like? Do certain players thrive on this so far? Are they starting to get it going? And I will say there was a little bit of an improvement as far as a little bit more efficient from the quarterback, even though he did, I believe, turn over the ball once. if I'm not mistaken. So
Yeah.
obviously for me, he played pretty efficient. I don't think this is his worst of games. This is the most, I believe. I don't remember what week, if it's week 5 or 6, or even I think it's 5 or 6, where this is the most offensive yardage we've had since then. So that's a positive, right, to look at. I'm not saying that, hey, we're gonna turn the season around. The season's pretty much over. I mean, now at this point, 2-8, especially with the AFC West continuing to pile up wins. It's gonna be tough for us. We're 1-5 away. We're not that good away, and we got a couple away games. So at the end of the day, man, it just looks like the season is starting to get away. Obviously, we look at the rushing attack; it wasn't there once again. It's the same thing. The rushing attack was not there at all. Some may blame the offensive line, which obviously there was a lot of moving parts on the offensive line every week. So we could see why it's a little rusty and why it doesn't look to the full potential. And then as far as that, when your wide receiver is leading you in rushing yards, it's pretty bad. that should show the tail of the tape. And when you're requiring somebody like Minshew to throw the ball not 30 times, not 40 times, but 43 times, you're expecting a lot, man, and that's too much to ask for. So, injuries. I mean, injuries is another thing that I wanted to touch up upon. We got a couple injuries now. Jacoby Bennett, I know, got hurt. Jack Jones himself got hurt. It's just a continuing pile of you feel me, of injuries as well. So, man, just another week of the same old thing, and it sucks. But at the end of the day, man, it really looks like we're really striving for next year, and it sucks for me to say that because I was really expecting a lot from us this year. If you guys listen to the Max Crosby podcast, he literally even said it himself. It's pretty much a shit season that he didn't expect. He thought it was gonna be so much more, but that's pretty much what I had to say about anything else you wanted to touch up upon this game and stuff like that.
Yeah, the offensive side of the ball actually wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? The offensive side, you're telling me this offense that has been playing horrible up until, what I'm saying, this point, is they only punted once.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I would take that any day.
Any day.
On this offense, you know what I'm saying? And the way that they've been playing at, up until this point. So to say that they only punted once, it is a great, you know what I'm saying, positive. And then, like you said, the run game wasn't there. And I think that's going to take a little more time, to get together, just to be very honest with you. But I have to give props to Scott Turner, because one of the things that I say, I've been saying is, especially with the run game, like I always say, start off with the run. Let's see where it's at. But if it ain't working, don't stay there. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't continue to run the ball if it ain't working. Like, you know what I'm saying? Go do something else. And, as much as it's not a beneficial thing, like you said, that we're passing the ball, our run game wasn't there. So what else are you supposed to do? Try to throw your way out of it. So I know that could be grounds to lose a game, because we can't really trust on Minshew. But if the run game ain't there, you gotta pass the ball. So I'm glad that our offensive coordinator said, "Hey, our run game ain't cooking. I'm just gonna pass the ball."
Facts, man. And shout out to everybody coming on in. Obviously, we'll answer the question right now, right away on that. We'll get to the draft right now a little bit. But shout out to everybody, man. Who would have thought North's 2004 playbook would be better than Get Season? That's a fact. Shout out to SoCal Sal right away coming on in. Cool Kev, salute. Billy Davis, salute. Good to see you guys, man. Hope Ball as well. Shout out to everybody coming on in. Salute. The Burpee Reaper was good. Was good. You don't forget we have the coupon Tom. Did Zamir White has been disappointed to the season, and also Zamir White and Alexander Madison both didn't practice, so that's another thing that we got to look at from that point. Which at the end of the day, I will say, looking at the draft, there's some really good running backs out there, and I'll talk about it if you guys have a question on who I have my eyes on so far. But shout out to 4 Life. Our Raider story was good. Salute. Hope all as well. But now I want to touch, I know, you feel me, Twuan. We got a little bit of videos coming up on the draft later on in the season and stuff like that. But it doesn't hurt when we got a season like this to talk about it, just a little bit of a little glimpse of the draft, actually. So, right off rip, before we get into the topic itself, Raider Way had a question for the both of us. Who else do you have your eyes on quarterback besides the top two? Do you want to start off on this, or do you want me to start off on this?
I do have some, but I'll go ahead and let you go because I might even say the same ones you got.
Yeah.
So I'll let you get on that.
For me, obviously, we look at, I have a little bit of the top two. Obviously, you're probably referring to Cam Ward. Obviously, Shedeur Sanders, the top two. In my opinion, they're 1 and 2. Me, I have Cam Ward over Shedeur Sanders, but that doesn't mean I hate Shedeur Sanders. Hey, I like the way he plays, and there's so many connections with us. But other people I have is Jalen Milroe. I also have Carson Beck from Georgia. I also have Drew Allar from Penn State. Those are a couple guys that I have. And then obviously later on in the draft, people like Jackson Dart, Riley Leonard, but that's about it. Besides that, I mean, you could even put in Quinn Ewers in there if you want. And you could say that Quinn Ewers, some people are saying that Quinn Ewers, Cam Ward, and Shedeur Sanders are 1, 2, and 3. You could say that. But for me, obviously, those are a couple of quarterbacks I'm looking at. But me specifically, I think you have to get Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion, if you want the Raiders to succeed next season. But go ahead.
Yeah, you actually said one of the ones that, because obviously I think the obvious is Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. Those are 1 and 2, 2 and 1, whatever you want to classify that. I'll be talking about that tomorrow. But look, I looked at the tape, and for some reason, beyond that, Jackson Dart has really caught my eye. And I don't know if I'm particularly putting him at number 3, but that could be a possibility. I would be honest with you. I would be in a conversation to put, just like we're talking about Cam Ward and Shedeur being 1 and 2. I feel like Milroe and Jackson Dart could be 3 and 4.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that might be, and that's another discussion. But what if I know we're going to talk about draft, like you said, down the line, but I'm just going to put this on your guys' lap. What if we're at where we're at? Shedeur Sanders is gone. Cam Ward is gone. Are we going to go for Milroe at 5 or 4? Are we going to go at, whoever quarterback at 4, or are we really just going to get the best player available? And are we okay with going in the second round and going to get one of those guys? Because I think, like you said, the Milroe, the Ewers, you know what I'm saying? Those guys, they have most likely they can go into the second round. So are you okay with getting that top pass rusher at 1? Are you okay with getting that, you know what I'm saying? Because we still need a pass rusher, whether it's a defensive tackle or a defensive end. So can we get I always say Skoronski, but I know that's not his last name. But one of those guys, so that's something to definitely discuss. Like, are we going to do like we did last year, get a Brock Bowers, and then try to see if we can make a play out of quarterback in the second round, or whatever? But does it have to be in the first round to go get a quarterback?
For me personally, right, and we'll get into that scenario real quick. I want to touch upon that scenario. If you feel me, Shedeur and Cam Ward are out of the picture, but let me shout out everybody's coming on. SE, I want your mock draft, the top 5 pick. They have us drafting Arizona State MC Millen. I mean, they're gonna say, well, I've seen a couple mock drafts. For me, if you're referring to the wide receiver, I believe it's the wide receiver, right?
The 6'5" wide receiver.
Yeah, I wouldn't pick him at 5 in the top 5. In my opinion, not in the top 5. I mean, some may say yeah, but not top 5. And let me tell you what route I will go, right? Let's just say Cam Ward out of the picture, Shedeur Sanders, they're both drafted, whatever, okay? We're in a little bit of a faulty situation. You're like, okay, now what route do I go, right? Obviously, you could get another decent quarterback in the second, third round. So I'm not going to worry about a quarterback after Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders in the first round, in my opinion, right? Some may say, go out quick, Quinn Ewers. I'm a different person, right? And hear me out on this, right? There's 2 players that I would choose, but as of right now, as of November 20th, y'all, just remember this, November 20th. I'm not just saying, obviously it's going to change when we get in the offseason. But as of right now, looking at the glaring needs, it would be between Ashton Genty, the running back, and Travis Hunter. That would be my 1 and 2. If Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, as of November 20th right now, I would choose. Why would you say? Why is SC saying running back? Why is he taking a run? If you watch Ashton, his film, this guy is a dog. A lot of people talk about running backs grow on trees, and I've said that before, but obviously this year proved me wrong. I mean, it proved me horrifically. And you see that they don't. At the end of the day, Zamir White ain't what we thought he was. Dylan Lobby still needs some coaching. He still needs some, play time to try to get adjusted to the NFL level. And Alexander Madison is obviously on the older age. What happened?
I said he needs to hold on to the ball first before he can do anything else.
Yeah. So for me, Ashton Genty is my pick for running back if you go that route, because he's a heck of a runner, man. I'll tell you, he's a heck of a runner. And if you give him a decent O-line on the free agency market, which in my opinion, I think that's the route the Raiders should go. The Raiders should do this, right? As of right now, with so much cap space, let's lock down a couple people, right? Let's bring back Malcolm Kuntz. And now that he got injured, no offense to him, and hopefully speedy recovery. I never want anybody to get injured. Speedy recovery to him. Hey, we could get him on a cheaper deal now, like, because he got injured. We have leverage there. As much as it hurts for me to say that, and it sucks that injuries give organizations leverage, it's just the reality of it. So for me, you bring back Malcolm, because you bring back a couple other players that you could get on a pretty good contract, and you go out in free agency market and you get a heck of a O-line, a really good O-line. You get a really good O-line, and in the draft, you take care of your wide receiver, you take care of your even quarterback. Obviously, you take care of your running back there in the draft, and you take care of your offensive line in the later rounds. And then, from there, you could plug and play whatever else you want, cornerback or safety if you want. Yeah. But that would be, in my opinion, what you would go in this thing.
And I'm just going to add on to what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Not saying I completely agree with it, but I see where it makes sense, right? If we're talking about we want a good quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, we want him to help fix our offense, right? If we cannot get Cam Ward or Shedeur, which are the 2 top quarterbacks, right? Mm-hmm. We don't, again, at this point, at this specific time, right? That's where it's at. If you get a good running back, look, if you get a good running back and then you go in the second round and go get Ewers or Jackson Dart, they gonna look real good at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Because a good running back helps out your quarterback. So if you can, in that situation, you get a good running back, get this running game going, then the quarterback really doesn't have to do a whole lot. I'm reminded of a team in Tennessee called the Tennessee Titans. Who's Ryan Tannehill that he's so good at quarterback? No, he's not that good at quarterback. It's because he had a Derrick Henry running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That every once in a while he could do a play action type of situation and dump it off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it works in that way. And like you said with Travis Hunter, then we don't have to worry about, who's our number 1 corner. You know what I'm saying? Now you got a corner that, okay, we know we got, you know what I'm saying, help out this defense. You know what I'm saying? I know that the defense is the better side of the ball at this moment, but if you stack up that defense and really make it a dominant defense, then that also eventually down the line helps out our offense. You know what I'm saying? If we get a defense that can shut teams down to 14 to 17 points, I think we can win a few more games. You know what I'm saying? So that I see where it works.
Yeah, and it's crazy to say that, all lies. You feel me? It's true. It'll help us in the cap space. It'll help us get a better deal for us. And who knows? He could come back stronger than ever, right? Sometimes people come back decent. Some people come back the same. Some people come back worse. It's just a tale of the 10, and it's a risk that gives us leverage for the contract. So obviously, Christian Wilkins is hurt too. And Malcolm Kutz are both hurt, but we could somehow, some way get them back healthy, fully healthy next season, and that'll be a blessing in disguise for sure. But obviously, yeah, a running back helps a young quarterback 100%. When you have a good run game, it helps your quarterback regardless of, you feel me, veteran, or it just helps in general. And Gardner Minshew hasn't been the best in the whole season, but I will say the running back group hasn't been helping either, and also the O-line hasn't either. But it's kind of tough when you're switching out offensive linemen every other week, like it's preseason, and you see it. You see everything. With a good offensive line comes a good quarterback play, a decent quarterback play, and a good running back play. But none of it is happening because their offensive line can't really get it together because of the continuity, the inconsistency of it, and the moving parts every other week. You can't keep moving parts every week and hope that something sticks. You got to be able to succeed in the offseason, know what you have, know your starters, make sure they're on the same page, and then move forward there. But instead, they didn't do it. So, obviously those are something we need to address in free agency for sure.
And those two guys that Eric put, and again, I try to work things in my head to see if it makes even more sense. Those guys after the two quarterbacks, because obviously the quarterback, can we really say those quarterbacks are generational talents? I don't know, right? We don't know, but after we classified those two quarterbacks, Genty is considered a generational talent at running back. You know what I'm saying? Travis Hunter is in the runnings of actually winning 3 awards. You know what I'm saying? Award at corner, award at wide receiver, and then the big one, which is the Heisman. You know what I'm saying? So you swing at one of those guys at where we're at, I'm not mad at it. You know what I'm saying? And also down the line, if they pick that guy and it doesn't work out, hey, I'm also fine with that too, in the sense of, hey, he was the best guy in football at his position. He was supposed to be a generational guy. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna swing and miss at sometimes, but those two guys specifically, they're coming with a lot of good indicators that they will, transfer over to the big leagues.
Would you draft down and get more picks? Last year I said yes. This year I say no. I mean, I think you got to get a top end level talent in the first round, because then you could really, regardless, if you feel me, if you don't get a quarterback, you're most likely going to get a running back or wide receiver or even cornerback that's going to end up being your future. Similar to like the Brock Bowers situation, where it was like, some people may say, oh, we don't need a tight end, but look at how he's playing, right? One of the best, actually, he's the best tight end right now in the NFL, if you go look at everything he has done. And it's crazy to say that with who his quarterback is and the offensive play call and all that stuff. So he hasn't even bloomed yet, right? And obviously he's a weapon. You need a weapon on one of your position of needs this year. And there's a lot of weapons out there in the NFL draft that could do exactly that and fill in the hole that the Raiders have that don't have to worry about for the next 5 years, right? Running back, wide receiver, quarterback, all those things, even offensive lineman, tackle specifically, right? Those all things come into play. But obviously I wouldn't draft down. But if worst case scenario, everybody's off the board some way, somehow, everybody is, then obviously you would go down in the late first round and then get an early second and then etc.
There's too much on the totality of this roster that we need to shore up, that you would trade down, you know what I'm saying, to go get somebody. I think there will be a lot of people where we will be that can fix exactly where, running back. We've been needing a running back. So getting Genty, at running back would really solidify our running back room, right? Getting a Travis Hunter, don't have to worry about, a lockdown corner on one side. Then we could play defenses a certain way, and really get things going. You know what I'm saying? So I think at this point, it would be good to just go ahead and draft, the best player available at that point after, if we could not get the quarterback. Also, because of our situation of how many picks we got this year, I think we got like 10 or 11 picks already. You know what I'm saying? And those haven't fully came out yet. I think we might even get more picks, by the time the draft comes around. So to have 10 to 11 picks, I think that's good enough to get whatever we need to get. But yeah, I don't think we should be in a position to trade down with all the talent that'll be there for our grasp.
Shout out to Gravy in the building. What's good, Gravy? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Shout out to everybody coming on in. Chile, what's good? I don't know if I saluted you, but salute. Good to see everybody coming on in, man. We're just talking a little bit about the draft a little bit. You feel me? It doesn't hurt to talk about it a little bit. But I will say something like this, and this is exactly why I'm looking at the free agency list right now for the offensive line pretty much position. And just, I'm going to name some names for you guys. You may call some old, but really good players, right? Ronnie Stanley, Cam Robinson, Tyron Smith, Jedrick Wills Jr., Morgan Moses, and then going on to the guard position, Brandon Sheriff, Zach Martin, Mekhi Becton, Will Fries, Trey Smith. I mean, these are all guys that, in my opinion, could really boost you up an offensive line. And, if you pair that up with the rookies we have right now, plus on top of that, you go into next season in the draft and you get an offensive lineman for the future, boom, you got yourself an offensive line next year, right? So for me, I'm hanging my hat on the next year for sure. I think the Raiders are too. I think some of the players are starting to realize it, but that doesn't mean that they're gonna try to lose games. I think they're just playing and they're just losing. Like I've been saying week in and week out, I don't think they're tanking. I think they're actually trying to get it together, trying to find an identity still, and it's just not working. But obviously, for me, we're in prime position to get a quarterback, and as you can see from the title, is a franchise quarterback inside for Las Vegas, because it's getting more and more closer to what we're doing, right? It's getting more and more closer. Shout out to Raider Nation live in the building. Salute. Shout out to everybody coming on in, man. And like I said, just like what Nightball said, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new. I'll greatly appreciate it, man. And blessings to everybody, man. Hopefully everybody's having a better week than last week and the weeks before of all these losses we keep taking. But we're here, man, talk about some positive outlook like the draft and the different things like that. Shout out to Lake Show Raider. What's good. And I don't know if I ever gave a shout out to my Dodgers, bro. It's been a while since I freaking have. Shout out to them for winning the World Series. All right. Yeah, we showed that the West Coast is the best coast. You heard me? But yeah, I mean, I just had to shout out the Dodgers real quick. And shout out to the Lakers too, man. We got a gem in Kent, man. We got a gem over there, man. And
okay, I can come back on the screen.
Yeah, you can come back on you can come back now. The Lakers found themselves a gem. They found themselves a shooter. But I also agree with you here. For life, we're resorting to talk about the draft week 11 in prior, and it sucks that we are. Right. I said this before we even started talking about the draft. This is the first time me and Twuan even talked about the draft this season. It sucks. And I said this even in the beginning of the live. It sucks that we're doing it this early, but in the reality of things, it's looking that way. And, we're so far into the season now that there's no way. I mean, I wouldn't say no way until we see the Raiders have officially been eliminated. Obviously, there's always hope and a chance. But obviously it sucks that we're this far into the season and the season's not even over and we're already talking about the draft. We didn't do this last year. We didn't do it the year before. This is not a season that we all predicted. Okay. Not at all, man. I didn't think that to this point we would only have 2 wins. 2.
That part.
2.
You know, you were talking about O-line, and I think we're gonna have to with where our O-line is. I think we're gonna have to address O-line in free agency and in the draft. I would prefer that. You know, in this situation, because we're gonna need insurances. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys, you know, if Parham goes down, then what? You know what I'm saying? There goes my word, then what? Right? And that's where we are, you know, with a lot of places on our roster, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's why, as much as, like you said, the record sucks, we still got to look at these guys because we gotta know who's going to stay and who got to go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those, you know, that we can upgrade, right? We got to look at all of that. So my eyes are still going to be on the screen.
No, it's a fact. And like I said, there's a lot of promising players on this team that are young, right? Jackson Powers Johnson, a very bright spot, future offensive lineman. I mean, not future offensive lineman, but the future for us as an offensive lineman. And then Brock Bowers, obviously a dog. And then, you know, obviously Glaze could be something special with the right, you feel me, people around him. And it's just so on and so on. So for me personally, there's a lot of changes that need to be made next season in order for us to be a winning team next season. And, you know, like I said, I hate that we're talking about this right now, but it's the reality of it. And I don't want to be fake to y'all and, you know, push sunshine and rainbows and all these different things and give you a lot of hope when that's not the reality of it, right? I'm going to give you the real. I'm not going to be like the media where it's like, hey, you know, they got a chance. You know, they could win 8 straight. Yeah, no. No, not at all. They literally, our own coach said that we're still trying to find an identity. When your own coach pretty much says that you're still trying to find an identity, and he comes on the press conference and says that a lot of things still ain't working, you know it's not it's not gonna go right. But I still want to beat certain teams. That doesn't mean I don't want to beat teams. I want to beat teams. I want to beat teams bad. And I want to beat teams like the Broncos because we got embarrassed. I want to beat them this week. I want to beat the Chiefs because I'm tired of them talking. I want to beat the Chargers because they got their high horse thinking they're going to be Super Bowl bound. I want to beat the Saints because, let's be honest, I don't even got to say too much about it. I mean, I just want to beat all these teams. And I'm hoping we do because at the end of the day, I just want to win. I still want to win. And, you know, I'm not here to say let's lose every game so we could get a top pick. No. I don't want to lose every game. And I'm going to say this week in and week out. I don't want to lose games. I don't want to. And then we've been losing games for so long and I'm tired of it. So it's literally exactly what Cool Cat said. It's time to play spoiler to some of these teams. And that's just what this team is positioned for. So let's spoil some teams. And I hope it's some teams that are our rivals. And we spoil these guys, man. But, you know, Twuan, man, you know, I think it's time. You know, I kind of skipped it, but I want to bring back a very special segment. And I've been waiting for this for 3 weeks. I think it's 3 weeks now that we haven't done it. And it's time. If you guys don't know what this is, I'm going to let Twuan explain it, man. It's one of my favorite parts, man, because I get to sit here, sit back, relax, drink my water, and just, you feel me? Get your popcorn, man. Get your talkies, get whatever you need, you feel me? But it's, of course, the segment we all know and love. What you doing Wednesdays? Twuan, talk to them.
Hey, what you doing Wednesdays is when we talk about a specific person. All right. Hey, you watch the game and you see what's going on. Hey, one thing about Raider Nation is that there's a lot of people out there that watch the games. They know what they talking about. And you watch the games and sometimes you be like, hey, what are you doing? Right. So there's somebody that is deserving of it this week. And man, this one is hurting me so bad to say, but Patrick Graham, what are you doing? Look, this one hurts me bad because Patrick Graham has been playing and doing what he's been doing and actually been the brightest side of this team. You know what I'm saying? Our special teams is kind of lightweight special, but then our defense, they've been trying to hold it together. And obviously our offense has just been straight up horrible. But this week, Patrick Graham, what are you doing? You get no pass today, okay? Patrick Graham, okay? I understand that there's been injuries, okay? I get that. But hey, the biggest motto is next man up. And it is your responsibility to get those players ready to play. And what do? Third down. You decide to use cover zero. On a speed heavy team. What are you doing? Look, this is one of those situations that I'm like, did you just decide to lose your mind and just, Tyreek Hill's over here and Waddle's over here, and we just gonna let everybody come on up so we can just get beat by guess what? The freaking tight end. What are you doing? Okay, look, and this what makes it even more crazy. Our offense didn't even play that bad. They only punted the ball once. Okay? And this is the frustration of the whole entire season. Okay? Look at this. If one thing's working, the other thing ain't working. We got peanut butter and no jelly. We got ham and no burger. Okay? We ain't even cooking because we got French and we ain't got even fries. Come on, man. Put it together and get it together. And Patrick Graham, this one's on you. Okay? 34 points is on you. What are you doing? You know what we trying to do. We trying to win, baby.
And that is what you're doing. Wednesday's back. Patrick Graham on this week's segment of What You're Doing Wednesdays, man. You feel me? And of course, for me, I don't got what are you doing? You feel me? For me, you said it all. And me also, there's a lot of people that deserve what are you doing the whole season. And once we get to the end of the season, we're gonna do something that we're gonna do what are you doing on everybody. But of course, this now moving forward, you feel me? Talked a little bit about the draft, a little bit of preview. We talked about the recap. Now it's time to talk about the preview, of which, to be honest, the Broncos have been surprising me this season. Bo Nix has surprised me heavily. I wasn't a huge Bo Nix fan to a lot of the way people are, but I started to come about to the idea towards the tail end of the draft. But still wasn't a huge fan since the start. So I'm not gonna sit here and say that I knew all along. No, I didn't. It took me a while just to know what type of quarterback he is. But Bo Nix, of course. What do they say over there? They believe, they boldly, I don't know what the fuck they say over there. But of course, the Broncos are doing their thing. I hate to say it, and I hate the Broncos, but they are a winning team as of right now. Bo Nix looks like a special quarterback for them for the future endeavors over there. And you feel me? Now it's time to come against a team that could spoil their season. And it's the Raiders. The Raiders are coming in. We're trying to find our identity, a new offensive, now another week of a new offensive coordinator that has been doing a better job. We might get people back healthy, hopefully, right? That's the clue. That's like the hope, hopefully. But of course, man, talk to me a little bit about this game, Twuan. What are you feeling going into Denver? I mean, actually, they're coming to us this time instead of us going over there. They beat the shit out of us the first time, but now we're playing a team that is starting to get it going. It's starting to be red hot. But do you think the Raiders have a chance to spoil their party?
I think this time was coming, just to be very honest with you. We've always talked about the Broncos and said, hey, they coaching ain't right. Well, guess what? They got a coach. Then we said, oh yeah, they their defense is good, but their quarterback sucks. And they got a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like it took a while, but it's coming together for them. And unfortunately, this might be a situation where we swept the Broncos, and they might mess around and sweep us. If especially like I was talking about in the What You Doing Wednesdays, it's always a situation where one side of the ball ain't working. Like as soon as our offense looks like it actually looks like an offense, you know what I'm saying? Then our defense is acting like they don't know how to cover. So, They got to put it together. And unfortunately, I kind of got them losing this game. And it's because, like I said, the Broncos are looking good. You know what I'm saying? Like their defense is as advertised, and their offense is putting it together. So if we don't come together, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about all sides of the ball, and that's 3 sides of the ball. You know what I'm saying? If they don't come together, then they might have the sweep on us.
Mm-hmm. And they need to figure something out, because I don't want to lose to the Broncos, in my opinion. I want to win. And I know a lot of half of the Raider fans probably are saying, "I hope we lose. I hope we lose. I hope we lose." But for me, we just got to get it together, and we need to spoil some parties for sure. At the end of the day, we're going to get a really good player in the draft. I do believe so. And I think we are going to get our quarterback of the future next season. So I'm not even worried about none of that. Unless some way, somehow, Tom Telesco goes the complete opposite direction, in some weird direction that none of us expected. But I highly doubt that, because if you look at Tom Telesco's resume, he wasn't always good at the tail end of the draft, but he was really good in the top 3 rounds of the draft. And you've seen it this year. Hey, come on. Do you really think it's the worst? I mean, for one, Brock Bowers, rookie of the year, in my opinion. Vince said this. He's going to be top 3 in that nomination, and it looks like he might win it for sure. What's number 2? Jackson Powers-Johnson, looking like one of our best offensive linemen. Glaze, high potential. Still, it's question, but high potential. He's a 3rd-round pick. Again, where a lot of people are criticizing DeCamerion Richardson, Trey Taylor. But remember, Tom Telesco wasn't always good towards the tail end of the draft. Still not saying that the DeCamerion Richardson won't be good or anything at the end of the day. But I am saying that the top 3 picks, once again, Tom Telesco proves his resume that he's been good through the first through 3 rounds. Again,
there's only one person that I don't think is getting used, and that was Devonshire. And he was a 7th-round pick. DeCam was out there last week. You know what I'm saying? Eichenberg has been out there. You know what I'm saying? So, Lauby maybe. I mean, he's been around, but you talk about usage of players. When you got five of the 7, being used, that's not too bad.
And that's why I'm not worried about next draft, man. He's proven it again. They could do 1 through 3 rounds, and that's what the most important ones are going to be entering next season. Even late round picks are important. I'm not saying they're not, but I will say for us and plugging in holes that we need, yeah, for sure. Shout out to Circus, man. What's good? Charger fans thought it was Telesco's fault they stunk for years. No, not at all. He always had an eye for the talent. It was just injuries and the coaching staffs that they had. So, and obviously, look at Charger fans this season. They're saying Super Bowl bound, but remember, half of their squad, Tom Telesco built. If you don't realize, Tom Telesco built half the squad. Did they get a lot of people for free agency this year? Yeah, 100%. I mean, J.K. Dobbins, right? Obviously, you get Gus Edwards. McConkey got drafted this year, but then you start seeing emerges, right, in people like Quentin Johnson. Right, Joshua Palmer. You keep going, Rashawn Slater. I could keep going down the list. I mean, their quarterback, for F's sake, was who he drafted, and people were saying, "Oh, wow, Justin Herbert." And now they're calling him MVP, which is crazy to me. It's crazy to me. I don't know. That's a team that I want to spoil season, because they need you feel me? Calm it down. But at the end of the day, a lot of people will say that the Raider fans have no say in anything right now, but I don't care. I'm still gonna talk my shit, right? But obviously, as far as the Broncos goes, Bo Nix looking really good. Broncos looking really good. At the end of the day, hate them, but they're starting to pick it up, finding their identity over there. Sean Payton is finally doing what Sean Payton does best, and what I've been saying, right? Cool Kev, just shout out to Cool Kev. Like I said, not a bad coach at all. But the Denver Broncos is another team, just like the Chargers, where they need to hold up, right? They've beaten teams that are not playoff teams as of right now. One of them including the Jets, which, let's be honest, the Jets aren't looking too good over there either. Right? And that's just one example, right? So we could spoil their party. I feel like we are capable of spoiling their party even through injuries. Will we do it? It's 50-50 for me. Like I said, I'm not going to say I hope we lose or I hope we win. Well, I do hope we win. Actually, what am I saying? I do hope we win. But at the end of the day, the losing part ain't out of the realm at all, especially how the season has been going. But for me, I'm predicting a close matchup this time. It won't be a blowout like last time. That's what I'm predicting, a closer matchup. And I'm hoping the Raiders could come off with a W so we could all park the bus on the Broncos. But only time will tell.
I think the positive though, even with me saying I think this might be a loss for us, is that our offense last week kind of made sense. You know what I'm saying? So if our, out of all the other weeks, I think that was like the best making sense offense that we had. You know what I'm saying? So if our offense can make sense again this week, you know what I'm saying, and our defense get back to, kind of how they've been playing, I think there still might be a fighter's chance. But if that don't come together, then that I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but it's definitely going to be an L.
Yeah, 100%. I hope we tie our offenses to us, and I don't have any time for Ru to lose. I hope we tie. I know a lot of people will say, I hope, you feel me, it's a tie. But, I'm hoping that we could spoil some parties. That's all I care about. And, a lot of people are saying, I hope we just lose. I've been hearing that a lot. I hope we just lose. I hope we just lose. That's not me. I just hope that we spoil some parties and we get a good draft pick to get a really good player that we could really get easily next year, right? But that's you feel me? As far as the Broncos goes, there's gonna be a closer game than last time. I do believe in the squad. Hopefully they get it together and find some type of identity. All I want is the Raiders to do three things: find their identity, so leading up to next year, they have a solidified offensive coordinator. Maybe this Turner could end up being something special, and we get a gem. And it's like, okay, we don't got to worry about an offensive coordinator enter next year. We could already have our offensive coordinator, and we could already have a set plan already heading into free agency and the draft, and they have more time to, you feel me, realize that, right? That's best case scenario. And then Patrick Graham obviously has had head coaching. People have been wanting him as a head coach. He hasn't done the greatest of job last week at all. But I will say that I wouldn't doubt it if people call him up for the head coach job again in another year. That's a potential loss that we could have entering next season. But I don't want to speak too much on that yet until it's official or whatever the case may be. But for sure, I'm excited to see. I'm not excited, but I don't know the word for it. I'm very optimistic to see what type of team this ends up by the end of the season, and optimistic in what direction they head into entering next season. So for that, obviously, Raiders, Broncos, Allegiant Stadium, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:05 Pacific Standard Time, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Obviously, I'm just glad that we have a lot of things to hold our hats on, and that's all I wanted, and I hope it continues to be in that, right? But we'll see. We'll see. Anything else you wanted to touch up upon in general?
Yeah, that injury report kind of looks real nasty. We were already kind of banged up going into last week, but then coming out of it this week, it ain't looking too good. The running game, even though that's kind of non-existent, we ain't got the running backs to even try to run it. Hey, look, this might be, this might be where I prove you guys wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'll add some juice to it, but we might see Amir Abdullah out there cooking them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. and that's where we're at. Unfortunately, Madison and Zamir White did not practice. And we got some questions still at corner. JB and Jack Jones. So we DCam and what's his name? What's the guy? the corner the free agent corner, DuVernay or whatever.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Oh, what's his name?
He played last week.
I know who
For
you're
some
talking
reason,
about. Yeah,
I'm trying to blank on his name. He came from the Giants.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about, but I can't.
Yeah.
It's losing my mind right now. And actually, I'm gonna just, you feel me, try to find it because it's gonna be bothering me. Oh, Darnay Holmes, I believe, right?
Yes.
Darnay Holmes, yep, from the Giants.
Yes.
Yep. So we're gonna be interested to see how he does, right? That could be a gem too. You know, at the end of all these guys could be a gem. We'll see what happens entering this week. I'm hoping that we come out with the dub. You know, at the end of the day, I always want the Raiders to just win because that's our motto, man. It's never just tank. At the end of the day, we just suck. I mean, that's the reality of it. We're just a bad team this season, and they can't get it together. But does that mean we have bad players? Yeah. But do we have good players? Yes, we have a lot of good players. And I just want to say this now. Stop with the Max Crosby trading rumor. Stop with making it even a bigger thing than what it is. Stop with the Max Crosby to this, Max Crosby to that. How do you guys feel about Max Crosby getting traded for 3 first rounds so we could build up and rebuild? No. Davante Adams is one thing that you give him up, right? Obviously, there was a lot of factors there. People were saying lack of effort. People were saying too much, too much drama, stuff like that, all these different things. Max Crosby has nothing to do with any of that. He hasn't caused any drama. He hasn't said anything bad. I mean, he was real on his podcast saying that we're pretty much shit. I mean, it's the reality of it. But he still says he's going to go out there and give all he can because he still has a personal goal that he wants to reach. He wants to win with the Raiders. And there's no doubt in my mind that this is one of those players that is not just chatting and not just saying it just to say it. I truly believe he's going to be a Raider for a very long time. And stop with the trade rumors, man. It's not going to happen. It won't happen. And I don't know what the hell people are saying, man. So stop with the trade rumors. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, then I will drink pickle juice again. I mean, y'all seen what happened the last time I drank pickle juice, and that was horrendous. So I will literally drink a whole jar of pickle juice again if he gets traded some way, somehow. He's not going to get traded. I don't believe he's going to get traded. And like I said, it's a low chance, man. It's a low chance. Zamir didn't practice. Our run game is ruined now. Yeah, Zamir didn't practice. Alexander Madison didn't practice. You heard it. Hold him to it. Davante isn't. Yeah, I mean, Davante effed up, man. He left Green Bay, came over here, left here, went to Jets, and now Jets lost their general manager, lost their head coach, and now pretty much has lost every game ever since they fired their head coach. So, yeah, pickle juice and a spoon of Vegemite. Vegemite sandwich might be better. We're still waiting for the I will do the Vegemite, man. I'm telling you, we will. I promise. I didn't forget about that. I will do it. Hold me to it. I will do it. Yeah.
Hey,
but
look,
yeah.
If we trade Max Crosby, you might as well just say we tanking for real. For real. Because I mean, the defense that's pretty much all we got. You know, to be real honest with you, like yeah, I don't get the logic. I really don't. I really would want somebody that believes that to break that down to me. Why that even makes sense.
Just, you feel me? I think it's just, something that could get clicks and, you feel me, and get, you feel me, talking. Because at the end of the day, this is what happens when we, you feel me, lose.
Yeah.
It's exactly what happens when we lose.
Yep.
So
we gonna be mad at the kicker in a couple of days.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, is blame everybody.
Yeah.
Blame everybody.
100%. So
people that ain't even responsible for that, blame them for it. Like, it ain't his fault.
So obviously, to end off, you feel me, the summarization of everything to do with what we talked about today. For one, another loss, another week, same old thing, horrible. hate it, but it is what it is. A lot of positive outlooks, a lot of negative, but a lot of positives more than the weeks before. Then the draft, obviously, we're in prime position for a quarterback. We're in prime position to get a position of need for sure, a strong position too. And then on top of that, the Raiders and Broncos this week on Sunday. Bo Nix comes to Allegiant Stadium. You know, some may say a very red hot um, Broncos team that's trying to get into the playoff picture for sure. But it's time for the Raiders to spoil some parties in Vegas, and what better yet than Vegas to spoil some parties, man, and to party it up. So hopefully we could get that W. We will see what happens. For me, like I said, I don't have a prediction. I'm not gonna give no score prediction, no nothing. But I will say that I hope that I could see progression, and that's all I care about: progression, 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 and progression. So to end that off, at Twuan, let them know if you got any videos, shorts, lives, anything in between coming up, man, and where they can find you and stuff.
Man, all of that. Videos, lives, action, you know what I'm saying? Get ready for my next live. I'll be breaking down, and it's gonna be a short live, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna take too long to let you guys know who I want at a Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. And then I'm also gonna let you know what offensive coordinator I want for the Raiders. Coming up. So you do not want to miss that. That will be tomorrow. I haven't put a time out yet because I'm still trying to play that out, but I will be live tomorrow. So definitely you want to subscribe, hit that notification bell because I do go live at random, you know what I'm saying, outside of my regular schedule. And then those that are on, you know, the SC Raider Talk, come on over to RaiderTwuan and just hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? If you're bored, go ahead and go over to my channel and just spam all likes on all my content because I'm coming at you guys at least 2 or 3 times a week to let you guys know about this team that we call the Raiders. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like button. Why? Because I like you. And remember, you're a blessing. Be a blessing to someone else.
Yep. So on that note as well, I got a YouTube short dropping tomorrow. It's just about the press conference that Antonio Pierce talked about the offense, a little mini one. And then obviously I should have a video for sure. Post game of the Broncos. I didn't do it this week, but I will do it next week. And then some YouTube shorts throughout, man. Maybe I'll do another one over the weekend. So we'll see what happens. Shout out to you guys, man. Of course, if you got SC Raiders Talk, man, on all platforms, even Instagram, Twitter, I believe it's the same thing, but I don't really use Twitter that much. Obviously, and then Instagram, yeah, that's the best way to reach me and stuff like that. So SC Raiders Talk on Instagram, and then SC Raiders Talk on YouTube. Both links are in the description for the both of us, man. Click down below. And on top of that, man, we appreciate everybody that came on by, man. Blessings to you guys and your families. Don't tell their lives, but tell people do, man. You guys are tough people, man. And like I said, life is too short. So always tell your loved ones you love them, man. Especially in, you feel me, the world we live in today. And that's about it. So on that note, y'all, we will catch you next week for another episode of the 2-for-1 Nation podcast, man. Of course, I was one of your hosts, the SC Raiders Talk, aka boy Eric, man. Or if you want, just call me SC. And home of the congregation and the Brown Crackers, the RaiderTwuan, man. And until next week, y'all, for the both of us, we'll see you guys next week. And I forgot to play this once today, so I'm gonna play it now. You can never get enough of. And we out with that. Peace.
Excellent.